Right now, every Nebraska school district makes its own decision on whether it teaches students about the Holocaust.
But a proposed bill would require Nebraska public schools to teach about it and make it a part of their curriculum. Channel 8's Alexis Ganeski joins us live in studio with more. Alexa?
Yeah, that's right, Rod and Megan. There were over 40,000 concentration camps and ghettos during the Holocaust. And according to a nationwide survey, nearly 50% of millennials cannot name a single one. The lack of Holocaust knowledge is disturbing to many, especially for a Nebraska man. Ari-Kohen of Omaha grew up listening to his grandparents' story of survival.
You know, it was a difficult conversation at the time. It continues to be difficult.
Zoe and Sherry Cohen were both deported from their homes in Romania and Czechoslovakia to Auschwitz concentration camp at the ages of 19 and 20. His grandparents, who didn't know each other at the time, lost their moms, dads, siblings, and many of their friends almost immediately when they arrived at the camp. It's their stories of loss, pain, and strength that are forever engraved in Ari's mind.
You know, one of the things that always stands out to me is as much as they're willing to talk about the experience that they had in the camps, because it ultimately turned out to be a story of survival, it's very difficult for them to talk about their family members. Still.
After the war, his grandparents met as refugees fleeing for a new start. They met somewhere in Europe in transit where they got married in Cyprus and started a family in Israel, later leading them to America in 1960. Ari remembers in great deal learning about the Holocaust in school, but that's not the case in every classroom anymore. As time goes on, the stories are fading. Nearly 2/3 of U.S. young adults don't know that 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. And a Nebraska senator is looking to change that. LB 888, introduced by Senator Jen Day of Gretna, would require every Nebraska public school to teach about the Holocaust and other acts of genocide to make sure history is never forgotten. Ari backs this bill 100%. He says teaching kids and keeping the Holocaust in textbooks is not only a way to honor its grandparents.
I really learned a lot from them about the idea of how you treat other people and more broadly about the concept of human rights.
But there is lessons to be learned here beyond what happened at that particular time to particular people.
Learning about the Holocaust, especially with the kind of advanced curriculum materials that we have today, can do a lot to teach students about empathy for others. It steers people away from bigotry and xenophobia. It can even be used as a kind of anti-bullying or upstander curriculum.
He says this education is so crucial, especially at a time when we're seeing rising anti-Semitism across the country. He says not long after this horrific event took place, it seems we are forgetting about and repeating some of those same terrible mistakes. Now, Ari's grandfather passed away in 2013 at the age of either 88 or 90. Keep in mind, birth certificates were lost back then, but his grandmother is 96 and still going strong where she resides in Detroit, Michigan. The bill is moving quickly through the legislature with little to no opposition. It could be debated on the floor as early as next week. Rod, Megan.
Alexa, thank you very much for that story, and thanks to Ari for sharing his family story with us.